Hi everyone, my name is D2N and I'm here to talk about my countdown timer again. A few weeks ago, I showed you my first countdown timer, the one I made for Streamloots-a-thon. Today's countdown timer is exactly the same. I'm also using it for Streamloots-a-thon, but I made some adjustments because the first timer I made it used text files a lot, really a lot, like three read and write actions per second during a Streamloots-a-thon. And on some computers, it might crash due to the amount of read and write actions. So I made a new one that uses variables a lot more and has a lot less read and write actions. Let me show it to you. First of all, we go into the Mixitup bot. It's the bot you see right here. The link for downloading the Mixitup bot will be in the description below. And I'm in the settings section. More importantly, I'm in the commands part of the settings section, and it's very important to turn your command lock system to none. Uh, this will enable you to run multiple commands at the same time. And during a Streamloots-a-thon or a sub-a-thon or whatever, when the countdown timer is running, it's one command running over and over and over and over again. And you want to use your other commands as well, so it's very important to have your command lock system uh, to none. This is the new countdown timer. Um, Instead of the three basic parts you had in the previous one, this one has five. It starts with file read and write, special identifiers, two of them, a conditional, and again a file read and write. There's more to this than just those 5 lines, because when you open the conditional, you will see that there's a lot more going on inside of the condition, and it's looped while the condition is true. We will be repeating it, but let's start at the beginning. Again, I start with reading the number of seconds we have to do from a text file. So somewhere on my computer, I have a text file, and the text file tells me the amount of seconds I want to start with. I put this in a special identifier I call start sec, the numbers of seconds to start with. I make a new identifier, a new variable, and I call it rtime. And I just put start sec in rtime. The reason I do this right now and I don't use start sec is because I want to make this globally usable. I want to use rtime, remaining time, usable in any command, in any event, anywhere in the program, anywhere in the Mixitup bot. I want to use this one, rtime. The next identifier is check time. And I'm putting the number 0 in there. It's just a counter that will enable me to set certain times to save something to the file. This doesn't need to be globally usable, so it's just the number 0 going into check time. It's only in this command we'll be using it. Then we have the condition. If the variable rtime, the special identifier rtime, is greater than 0, then we want all of this to happen. All of this will happen, and we'll keep repeating this. So repeat while true as long as the timer isn't 0. What we're doing in here is we take our variable rtime, remaining time, subtract 1, and we put it back into our time. It's good to know that you have to put it to global usage again because you want to use it everywhere in the program, and it's a mod expression. If you don't put mod expression on, it will put a text, the number of seconds, -1 in the variable. We don't want to have the text going in there. We want the solution of our time -1, like example 10 -1. We don't want 10 -1 in our time. We want 9 going into our time. That's what we do right here in this special identifier. The second one is we're adding 1 to check time. Again, this is a mod expression, but we don't need to make it globally usable. So check time +1, we put it back into the variable check time. Condition time, for me, that's every 30 seconds I want to save my file. So condition time will be check time %30. This means it will divide check time into 30, and the rest value, everything that's going behind the decimal point, will be going into condition timer. For example, 10%3 will be 1 because you can divide 9 into 3, and the 1 that's left to make 10, we can't divide it into a whole number, so it will be 1 going into cont time, condition time. We're gonna wait for 1 second. 1 second is the loop time. Everything goes this fast in a script, so we don't calculate all the other steps. We just say we have to wait 1 second here. And then we go into a condition. The first condition is we're gonna check if the cont time, the condition time, the one we did right here, is 0. If it's 0, then and only then we're gonna save to file. And what we're gonna save to file is the remaining time going back into seconds. This means every 30 seconds, my seconds.txt file is receiving an update. The main reason for this is imagine your bot crashing midstream and you have to restart the script. This way, you will only be losing like 30 seconds on your timer instead of needing to recalculate everything up to the point where the bot crashed. So you just restart the bot, restart the command, and you wouldn't have lost anything. Now, I never had the bot crashing on me, but I imagine it could happen. We also create a special identifier called display. This is the time we're gonna display as a text source in OBS. It will be the actual countdown timer on screen. We replace it with a space, or the text in the display timer will be a space because we can't create an empty display time, an empty identifier. Then we create a new variable called sec. In sec, we're gonna put the remainder, the remaining seconds, but only the seconds part. We want to display days, hours, minutes, seconds, but to do this, we first need to calculate the number of seconds. We're gonna make our way up from seconds to minutes to hours to days. If you want to add weeks in there, it's easy. Once we go through all of this, you'll figure it out by yourself. Otherwise, just send me a text message and I will help you. We take our time, %60, and put this in seconds. Our time %60 is we divide our time through 60, take everything behind the decimal point, multiply it by 60 again, and put this into our time. It's the same as we did with this one right here, where we want to have the check time percentage 30. It's the same deal here. We just want the remainder of the seconds. Then we're gonna calculate how many minutes there's still left. We take the R time, the total remaining seconds, minus the sec variable, the one we made right here. So, for example, if it's 63, sec will be 3. 63 minus 3 is 60. Dividing through 60 will give me 1 temp minute, 1 minute still left in the countdown. I call it temp minutes because when it's only 1 or up to 59, it will be the time we need to display. But if it's 120 minutes, we don't want to display 120, we want to display 2 hours. So that's why in the next special identifier, we'll be calculating min as an identifier, the number of minutes still left. Temp min percentage 60. It's the same as with the seconds. It will put the remaining minutes in the minute identifier. We're gonna do the same thing with temp hours. We're gonna use the total of minutes that we still have left minus the minutes we already put in the min variable, and we divide it to 60. That will give us the total number of hours still left in the countdown. Same goes with hours. Only here we use temp hours percentage 24 because there's 24 hours in a day. We don't need to have this going up to 60. 24 is fine for 4 hours. So hours percentage 24 will give us the remaining hours. And then days will be temp hours minus the hours we put in the display timer, dividing through 24. That will give us the total amount of days still left. If you don't use weeks, months, years, etc., it will be it can be a number going very high. On the other hand, there's not a lot of Streamloots-a-thons, sub-a-thons, whatever-a-thons going up to days or weeks. So I guess when we just go to days, it will be fine for most of us. Then I have, again, some conditionals right here. Let me see if I can put them like this. So the conditionals, the first conditional we have here is to fill up the display. The display we made earlier, the special identifier right here, the one where there's just a space in there. If days is different than 0, then we want display to be days. I use this thing as a divider, the 2 dots. As a divider, you can also put the word days there. You can use slashes, whatever you want as a divider. So it's days. If we don't have any days, if it's 0, I don't want it to display 0 days. Then we'll just keep the space we made earlier. So then the conditional will make sure this special identifier won't trigger. The next one is actually about the same. We're gonna do an OR operator because we're using 2 clauses. We're gonna look at days, and we want it to be different than 0, or we want hours to be different than 0. If we have 0 hours and 1 day, we still want this to happen. If we have 0 days and 1 hour, we also want it to happen. If we have both of them on 0, we don't want these things to happen. In this conditional, I have two other conditionals. The thing with these two conditionals, and they will look quite the same. The only difference is here I'm gonna check if hours is greater than or equal to 10. In the second condition, I'm gonna check if hours is smaller than 10. The reason I'm doing this is I like my timer to look clean. So if hours has just one digit, I want the first digit to be displayed as a 0. So it will be 09 will be 9 hours rather than just the number 9. You don't have to do this. This is something I do. So if it's greater than or equal to 10, display will be display because it can be the space or the number of days. And then we'll be adding hours. You don't need to put a space in here, just put the variables or the special identifiers against each other. And again, I put my divider here at the end. If it's smaller than 10, it's the same. It's display 0 because I want this number 0 to be displayed as the first digit, and then hours. And then again, my divider in here. After this, we're doing the same with minutes, but then we have 3 parts going into our operator. We have the days clause, the hours clause, the minute clause, doing exactly the same thing. If one of them is different than 0, we want this to happen. What do we want to happen? Well, if it's greater than or equal to 10, we just want display to be display and the minutes. So display minutes. If it's smaller than 10, we want it to be we want display to become display 0 minutes and our separator. The next condition, exactly the same. It will be seconds greater than equal to 10 or seconds smaller than 10. Now you'll see I have these two conditions here, and I didn't put them in another condition, and I'm not checking if hours, minutes, days, if they are used. And that's because I always want seconds to be displayed because it's the last one, it's the smallest one. The thing that's happening here is, again, we'll be recreating display, the variable, and it will be display seconds or display 0 seconds. So if we have days, then days, hours, minutes, seconds will be displayed. If we don't have days, but we have hours, then hours, minutes, seconds will be displayed. Same goes for minutes. If we have minutes, then only minutes and seconds will be displayed. And if we have seconds and none of the above, then only seconds will be displayed. At the end of this, we'll be having our save to file action. The save to file action will be using another text file called display.txt. This will be the actual text file we'll be using in OBS to use as a text layer. And we'll be saving display, the variable, into this text file. And this will happen every second. So every second we'll be having one read and write action. One write action, writing display into the text file. Every 30 seconds we'll be having a second write action, writing or remaining time, remaining number of seconds back into the seconds.txt. If you want, you can put a chat message in there every time you want to test this. You don't need it in the script. That's why it's off right here. And at the end, if our conditional isn't true anymore, so our time isn't greater than 0, our time is 0, then we'll have a save to file action saying the end, and it will go into display as well. It will be displaying the end. What you can do, what I do is I don't change my R time in the few days prior to my Streamloots-a-thon. So I display my timer 1 week up front because I tell my people I'm gonna do a Streamloots-a-thon. And when you tell them you're going to do a Streamloots-a-thon, they probably will stop buying packs and wait for the Streamloots-a-thon to start buying packs again. What I did was I displayed the timer 1 week up front, and when they buy packs, they already see the timer going up, but not counting down. So the loop is already running, but the time, the 1 second, every second this is looping, the 1 second isn't subtracting from the total time remaining. So they just see the time going up right until we start the Streamloots-a-thon, and I re-enable this and start the command again, and then it will be subtracting the time, and the countdown will be running. If you want to add time in any command, in any event, events being buying packages, gifting packages, playing cards, or even within the specific Streamloots cards, you can make a card adding 10 seconds, adding 1 hour, adding a day, whatever you want. The only thing you need to put in there is our time. The special identifier will be our time plus, right here it's argument 1 text. That's because I want to have manual control in chat as well if I want to add time. But if you replace this with 10, 20, 50, 60, 120, that's the number of seconds that will be added to our time. It's a math expression because we want it to calculate and then go into remaining time. And we want to make it globally usable. So this means the R time I'm using here is the same R time as I'm using in my countdown script. This way, every event that's happening, every chat message, chat command you're typing, every subscription, every package bought, every card played won't be triggering a read and write action. The only write action for the number of seconds will be once every 30 seconds going into our time. If you want to have it every 50 seconds, replace the 30 in the countdown timer as 50. This is the one line you need to add in any event you want to add time. So that's a bit easier than the previous version. it will be running in your memory of your computer a bit more rather than into text files, and you still have the backup just in case your computer crashes or the bot crashes, and you will be only losing 30 seconds of events in your remaining time. So it's easy adjustable if you need that. I think that's it, guys. If you need some more help on this, if you want to have some more explanation, if you just want to talk about it, or if you have some great ideas to implement into this, let me know. Contact me. Some ideas you can put in there is checking if the remaining time is less than 10 minutes to play a sound cue on stream, telling your viewers it's less than 10 minutes. There's lots of other stuff you can do in there. Feel free to inform me if you have something wonderful to tell us. That's it, guys. If you want to know more about Mixitup bot, the link will be in the description. If you want to use Streamloots, link will be in the description as well. I'll see you next time. Bye.